Rockwell podcast. We back again. We're gonna count down the episodes for you guys soon. I know we've been lazy with it and we've been all over the place. It's episode like 40 something. I just don't know. It's just don't blame me. But we have a very special guest in the building, and we're very grateful for her to join us on the podcast. Her name is Natasha Coppola. Shalom. Let's make some noise for her real quick. Woo! Yeah. How you doing, Natasha?
I'm good. How are you, Ro?
I'm good. I'm hanging in. I'm tired, but it is what it is. Is it hot you're in New York, right?
Yeah, it's 88 degrees today. It's nice. I love the heat, so I'm happy.
I like the heat too. I'm just like, it's adjusting. Could we start from okay, I got to ask you a question because I feel like your generation of your family, first of all, everybody out there, I feel like this is the most legendary family in all of Hollywood of all time. And I just want to ask, like, what's your name about, like, Natasha Coppola Shalom? Where does the Shalom come from?
So Shalom comes from my other dad. So Mark Coppola is actually my stepdad, but he raised me.
Okay.
So Weston and I aren't technically blood related. So
shout out to Weston, by the way.
shout out to Weston.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love Weston, obviously. He's my family. But so my dad is Isaac Shalom. And my stepdad is Mark Coppola. So he got me at 6 years old and was just the most wonderful, beautiful father to me, and raised me as if I was his own. And I've never felt like I wasn't his. And it just felt respectful to take his name too.
That's dope. So has it always been like that, like since like an early age, Natasha Coppola Shalom, or like?
No, I did it when I was a little older. I did it like after I was 18.
Okay.
I did it. But it became kind of like my mom, my sister, and my stepdad all had a different name from me, and it didn't really feel right. So
no, that makes sense. That makes sense. And we're gonna get back into the family lineage later on. I want to ask you this because, like, dude, like on your Instagram, you play the guitar, you sing, and you act. You're like super talented, and we'll go through your whole IMDb because you got a whole shitload of shit you did, which is really dope. Like, you're really productive, and you've been working. I want to ask, like, what was your first passion? Like, was it acting or was it like music? Because you're super talented with the guitar too.
You're so nice. Honestly, I learned how to play during quarantine.
Wait. You learned how to play during quarantine?
Yeah, I learned how to play.
Dude, that makes you feel even worse. Shit, like that was one of my goals, and I should have learned how to fucking play during quarantine.
Yeah, well, you still have time. It's not over.
That's true. And maybe that's like, dude, you seem like a pro, or you're singing. Like, if you learn, because I could, yeah, you're singing while you're playing. Like, you learn how to do that too during the quarantine.
So I'll tell you what. Like, I've been singing for a long time, acting. So, acting is definitely first. I've wanted to act since I was 3 years old. It's my, 13, and I love singing. And I learned guitar so that I could.
Is it? Well, hold on real quick. Hold on. Is it choppy for you? Are you still there?
A little bit, yeah. I'm still here.
All right, cool. Let's go. We're good. Okay.
So should I just repeat that?
Yeah, just repeat it.
So to answer your question, acting was my first love. I wanted to act when I was 3. And then I started singing at around like 12, 13 years old. And I just learned guitar so that I could accompany myself when I sing instead of using karaoke tracks on YouTube.
That's smart. And it's dope. Like, everybody during the quarantine said they're going to teach themselves a new thing, and nobody did it, but you did do it. So kudos to you. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
I was supposed to paint. Like, I was going to learn how to paint. I had all these plans.
You haven't been painting? You didn't do it?
No, I know. I'm disappointed. And I even told the audience on the podcast, of like, hold me accountable. If I don't do it, hold me accountable. And they're holding me accountable. I'm going to cry talking about it. But and like you said, it's not over yet. It's not over yet. So, we're going to get back. Yeah, I'm going to learn how to do all this shit. So, okay. So acting was your first love. Did you start off like in a theater, or did you start like doing like going for commercials, or like what was your first?
Theater. I started off in theater. My first thing I ever did was, at 3 we did Stone Soup. And then at 5 we did Madeleine, and then
What's Stone Soup? That's a book. Sorry, I just ignorant.
Stone Soup, yeah, it's a book. It's a children's book.
Okay, I know Madeline, but yeah, that's yeah.
Yeah, and Madeline is also a book. And then when I was 6, I was Abu in Aladdin.
Wow, that's super random, but
But
okay.
I really wanted to be Abu because like my monkeys are my spirit animal. Um,
Hmm. That's
so
dope.
I really wanted to play Abu, and I played a monkey more than once actually. In high school, I did this David Ives play called All in the Timing, and I played a monkey named Kafka who's trying to figure out it's a cool play. It's 3 monkeys. And they actually did this experiment. They put 3 monkeys in a room and give them keyboards and see if just by randomly typing they're able to write out Shakespeare.
Dude, that's genius. David Eyes, I've heard, like, I know he's famous. Yeah, he's a famous player. Like, right? He's famous, right? Because that's the
He
name
is
sounds
famous.
familiar.
He is
Okay,
famous.
cool. Because, yeah, I'm not as educated, but, I know a little bit of everything. But, yeah, that's super dope. That's an ill ass thing. Like, do you think your heart is more in, like, plays or is it in, like, on screen, like TV and film more than plays?
I
Because you're in New
mean,
York and it seems like a lot of people in New York like to do plays. It's just
well,
my
so I'm in New York because I'm from New York. I'm born and raised in Manhattan.
nice.
And so when I finished drama school, I ended up signing with an agent here.
Hmm.
But I've actually wanted to move to LA since I was 12 years old. I love LA. And like ideally, I would like to be bi-coastal, like spend the summers here and then the rest of the year there. But my heart is just in being an actor, right?
Hmm.
So like for me, it's not so much is it theater, film, or TV. It's what is the part? What is the story I'm telling? So if I get an incredible part with like just gritty stuff going on where I can really sink my teeth into it and like experience another human being's reality, then that for me is where my heart is.
That makes sense. Like, what was your trajectory? Like, so you did those plays when you were young, and we're gonna get into Chrome because that shit looks super dope, super ill, and it just came out on May 30th. It's on Amazon Prime for everybody out there. But we'll get right back into it. I want to just talk about how, like, what was your trajectory? Did you, because your IMDb is jam packed. So, like, what was the first thing you did that you were like, oh shit, I can really do this. Like, I can really
I
act.
mean, so I did kind of theater all throughout my life, and then in high school I used to go to England over the summers and do Shakespeare programs. So I did Twelfth Night and Midsummer and As You Like It when I was there. And for me, like I really felt like, okay, I really want to do Shakespeare. I love Shakespeare, and I ended up going to drama school in England. And I guess for me, the moment where I was like, I'm not wasting my life is like I got into one of the best drama schools in the world, and
What was
like
the name of the drama school, if you
the
can?
Royal Central School of Speech and Drama.
Okay, and that's
They're,
in
they're incredibly
London.
selective. They have like 4,000 to 5,000 applicants a year, and they accepted 18 of us.
Nice. Is
Yeah,
that
so
in
like
like London, England, or like where in England?
London, England.
Cool.
So that for me was, I guess, a moment of like, okay, I'm gonna be an actor, and
Yeah,
going to this incredible school to learn how to be an actor. And so that was, I mean, the moment. I mean, to be honest, my whole life I just never, I could never do anything else because it would just break my heart. Like it just a thing that I feel like I was born to do. So, but I did have that moment of, okay, I'm not wasting my time. I'm okay. I'm set. So I went there. And then when I came back, that's when I started auditioning and that's when I started working. Actually, I worked there a little bit. I did a handful of films in England before I moved. So I stayed there for like 6 months. And then I came back and just was auditioning and working and doing everything. I did like 20 odd student films. I did just independent short films, everything, because I just wanted to be working all the time. Yeah, so I've done now over 40 films and like
that's crazy.
a ton of plays. And honestly, actually, since coming back, since leaving school, I booked mostly camera. So I have done a handful of plays, but I've mostly done film and TV. So
Yeah.
I,
And the
yeah.
reason I ask you about plays, I don't know why, I just have this assumption that like actresses and actors who live on the East Coast love plays. I know it's a super like stereotype, but that's just my assumption. And like I've interviewed a few actresses on the East Coast, and it doesn't seem like my assumption makes any sense because it doesn't seem like it really correlates as much as I think it does to like wanting to do Broadway and things like that. But let me ask you this also. Okay, so did you ever think about staying in London with, like, you went to a great school there? Did
Yeah.
you ever like, shoot, I could just make it out here? Like, did you think about that?
So I wanted to. I
Mhm.
wanted to. It's impossible to get a visa. But I had a boyfriend at the time, and he was like, I'll marry you for a visa. You can stay. Um, but what I did was I came back here after I graduated for 6 months. And then after those 6 months, I went back to England to do a film that I was working on. And that whole that last stretch of time I was in England, I was homesick the whole time. So I just had this feeling of all of a sudden it doesn't feel like home to me anymore. This isn't where I want to start my life and make my life, and I just didn't feel, it didn't feel right. So I came back.
Nice. And like, have your parents like been supportive of you the whole time? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, for your acting and stuff?
Yeah, I'm very lucky in that. I'm very lucky in that. They all three of them were very stress the importance of education and said, if you're going to do this, you're going to do it right. We want you to be a great actor. We don't want you to just like be someone who's trying to get famous. We want you to go get educated, go get trained, be the best you can possibly be, and then do it.
That sounds like great parenting, great
Yeah.
advice. Could I like ask you a little personal question? Like, if you don't mind, you don't have to answer. Like, how did it work with? So, is you still have a relationship with your biological father as well?
Yes.
And he lives in New York also?
Yes. I'm in his apartment right now.
Oh, nice, 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 nice. Okay. And everybody, again, like, because I know a podcast is only talk about the projects, and we're gonna get to the projects. I just like to get to know the person too. So like, everybody get, and you can totally say, look, I don't want to answer that question. Like, don't feel obligated. But like, everybody gets along. I just want to know like the dynamic, and it's just interesting.
Um, I mean, now they get along. Growing up, it was hard, right? Because I'm my parents divorced. My mom remarried very quickly after. But I think when my mom met my stepdad, it was like she met her soulmate. And my stepdad, when he married her, he said, like, I'd never wanted to get married. I didn't really want a family, but I want to marry this family. Like, when he proposed, he said, I want both of you in my life. I want this to be my child and you to be my wife. So it was like just this beautiful thing of their connection was magnetic. You can't deny something like that. And I mean, and he was just incredible father to me. I couldn't be more grateful for that man at all. He's the reason that I know, it's possible to have good men exist. But
few of us,
so they're okay. Like now that like I'm much older, so they don't really have to communicate. But when they do, they're fine. They're fine.
Yeah,
There's
like my parents divorced too, but my parents, like, same situation. Neither one of them remarried, but they're cool now, and I think it's like a cool thing. I always wondered what it would be like if they did remarry. Like, what age were you when your mom remarried? Because, dude, it's like kind of like a weird thing if you think about your life. Like, dude, you're just entering this family. You know what I mean? Like, was it like a culture shock to you, or was it normal to you? I'm just,
no, it wasn't weird for me at all, honestly. Like,
did you know
so
that like what
I was,
the family was and stuff like that?
so I had no idea.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
So I was 7 when they got married. I was 6 when I met him. And so they had decided that they wanted me to get to know my stepdad's family as family and be part of the family. So I had no idea that anyone was part of the industry at all for years. So my relationships with the Coppola family are strictly like family.
Yeah.
I had no idea until I was in high school so I wasn't allowed to see any of the films for a very long time. I didn't see The Godfather until I was 20 years old because they, I just wanted they wanted me to know Uncle Francie as Uncle Francie, and that's it, So, and I'm so grateful that they did that. So there was no weirdness or anything. It was just like, and also like my stepdad was so great at just making me feel like his child. I've never felt like a stepchild with him ever. So I think that's a bigger part of it, is that I 100% just feel like his daughter.
That's dope. Yeah, that's beautiful. Like, it's a beautiful thing. Well, so okay, let's get into Chrome, and we'll go back into Chrome again. We like, this is ADHD podcast, and that's what we like to do. We like to jump all over the place because I have ADHD. I'm sorry.
Oh,
So
me too. It's cool.
yeah, so Chrome looks super sick. The visual effects look super sick. And a lot of our audience, we interviewed voice actors and stuff like that. And it seems like a lot of actors and actresses, like their dream job is to be a voice actor. So like, how was the auditioning process for that? Like, how did your agent contact you about that? And like, how was the first initial pitch that your agent told you, oh, this is what this, because it's hard to, I would imagine it would be hard for them to describe it to you to even, sign on for it. So how did that go, like the beginning process?
So actually, it was offered to me because I'd worked with the director before.
Nice.
And the director had already cast me in his next film. And he called me up one day. He goes, Natasha, I have a job for you next week. There's this thing I shot. We want to finish it. I need a new actor to do the voice of this character. I want you. It's sci-fi. It kind of told me, but it's how did he break it down? There's this female slave robot who escapes from her masters and wants to get revenge on the humans who it's in the future where the humans have lost their humanity and the humans are evil and the robots are good. So it's kind of humans versus robots and the robots are trying to fight for their freedom. And your character is this fixer bot who makes Chrome into this superhero that she is and is kind of pulling the strings all the way along and is much more important than what we know in episode 1. But so that was kind of how he pitched it to me. And I was like, of course, I'd love to do that. I love sci-fi. Sci-fi is one of my top 2 favorite genres, fantasy and sci-fi. So for me, it was just like, I love this director. I love working with this guy. And it was just, I'm offered just work for next week. Yeah, of course, I get to act.
Yeah, you didn't even have to audition like at all?
No, I didn't have to audition.
Is that gonna spoil you? Do you think like next time you're gonna be like, why should I audition for you? You like,
not at all. Not at all. I did it the other day. No, I still audition all the time.
Yeah. No, I just had to ask that, like, because some people get spoiled, like, oh, if people get offered something, that's super dope. Was that kind of fulfilling to you? And like, could you just for our audience, like, emphasize the importance of relationships, because you developed a great, obviously you proved to the director before whatever project you worked with him before, like you proved your worth and like your talent. Do you think like you just tell the audience like how important it is to maintain these kind of relationships so that you can get a future?
So important. And for me, that's been the number one most important thing, is just going on set and just being so happy to be there and getting to know everyone and learning everyone's name and developing relationships with these people, because you never know. Well, first of all, one, you're just going to meet cool people, right? And that's only going to enhance your life. But it's so important also for just working in the future. I'm at the point now where I've done so much work that most of what I do now is stuff I've been offered. Thank God.
That's super dope. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm so lucky for it, right? But I did put in like 8 years of just working, auditioning. Everything I booked was auditions. And now I'm finally at the point where I'm starting to get offers, but it's all just like the offers I'm getting are because I've made these relationships and I've done good work and I've shown up and been nice to be around on set. And I think that's a really important thing, more than just doing good work, just being pleasant on set, because if you do great work and you're a monster, no one wants to work with you.
Have you seen that kind of like in, you don't have to name names, but like in your projects you've worked on, have you seen that like with females or males, everybody could be like that, and you're like, damn, like, did you learn? Have you seen that? I'm just curious.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, I even have directors that I hope to never work with again. Which is tough, right? Because that limits my work. But I've worked with people who are abusive and who, like, if I become successful, I won't be working with them again. If I don't become successful, I won't be working with them again, But I've also seen a lot of diva actors, and that's what gets me is when people act like they're better than anyone else for any reason. Like, we're all human beings. We're all the same.
100%. And I'm gonna ask you a question real quick. And you don't, I just like, because we had a girl named Kelsey Kane. She talked about just how she has to navigate. She's a comedian in New York as well. And how she has to navigate through the comedy world with like you know, even though we have the Me Too movement right now, a lot of stuff has not changed. People are like guys are still assholes, guys are still misogynistic. Have you dealt with any of that? And if you have, like, how have you how has it affected you, and how have you navigated around it, and like still been able to like keep hope in this industry? Because it is a lot of dark side in this industry, you know.
There is. I mean, I've been pretty lucky in that I feel like for the most part I've been treated really respectfully and just as a person, but I'm sure that I've gotten underpaid. You know, I'm sure I've been on sets where the men have been paid more than me for the same amount of work. And I mean, the thing that I notice the most is just stuff like all these smaller roles, the mailman, the waiter, the doorman, they all go to men, right? So even the bigger roles, you just notice in the films, 80% of the parts are male actors and 20% are female actors, and that just needs to change. And you go on set, and in most cases, the crew is primarily men, which is, you know, it's.
I just messaged you what, but I'm just trying to tell you that, yeah.
Oh, sorry. But so I think like for me, I haven't personally experienced sexism, and I've been very lucky. But I see just in the proportion of men to women when you walk into a room, it's the same thing with you want to see people of all different colors. Usually when I walk into a set, it's mostly white people. Why? And those are the things that need to change. We need color, we need diversity, we need gender equality, and that's it. So yeah.
With gender equality, do you remember like there was a movie like 2 years ago, it was a year ago, like there's a Mark Wahlberg. I'll look it up. Usually I have my fucking assistant, but this guy's MIA. I think he's mad at me. It's all good. Shout out to Dana Ortega. Don't be mad at me no more, bro. You just it was your fault. You can apologize. Anyways, we had like I usually have somebody looking up this stuff while I'm doing it. But I want to do you remember that movie with Mark Wahlberg and Michelle Williams? And let me look this up real quick.
Oh no, I'm thinking the one with Casey Affleck. Manchester Odyssey.
It might have been that movie too, because
Odyssey?
where like he was like way overpaid. Like they had to do reach. Oh, I think it was something to do with Kevin Spacey. Let me see what the fuck this is. And sorry for cursing. I shouldn't curse. But
I don't mind. If your listeners don't mind, I don't mind. I'll curse with you.
Yeah, curse will be. Yeah, I just feel like it's like okay. The movie was called All the Money. It was a reshoot. It was Mark Wahlberg, Michelle Williams, and Ridley Scott. I don't know if you heard about this. Like in 2018, and then there was like a lot of controversy. Like he got way more money for the reshoots than Michelle Williams, and they kind of had like equal roles in it. And and it's because they had to do the reshoots because of Kevin Spacey. But that's another subject for another day. But my main topic, yeah, it's like, why even in the beginning? What's your opinion of that? Like, why even pay Mark Wahlberg more than Michelle Williams if they have the same importance of their role? What do you think that comes down to?
I mean, they just shouldn't. What it comes down to is they just shouldn't. They should pay them equally, period. Right? I think what it comes down to is partially the world is still a sexist place. We still exist in a world where we think men are worth more than women and men should be paid more than women. And some of that comes from the idea of like the man being the provider. Some of it comes from, I think, women being afraid to ask for more because we're taught not to. We're kind of taught to just accept what we're given. And I think maybe women don't realize that they're getting underpaid, so they don't ask for it. So it's kind of a combination of that. But I think the problem is that the real problem is if Mark Wahlberg's agent fights for X amount of money, then Michelle Williams' agent should go, okay, how much is he getting? We want the same amount. Or the studio should just go, okay, this is how much he's getting paid. Let's tell Michelle, this is how much he's getting paid. This is how much we'll give you too. Period. It just should be equal. They're not, I mean, she's incredible and brilliant and successful and sells. I would go see a movie with her in it faster than I would go see a Mark Wahlberg movie. I think she's incredible and beautiful and just love watching her. So
Brokeback was amazing. Remember, do you watch Brokeback? I watched, like, that was a great movie. Brokeback.
Yeah. Oh,
She was amazing in that. Yeah, but continue. I want to hear your opinion on this.
So yeah, well, but that's my opinion. Is it just should be equal? Period. I don't know where it comes from. I think it just comes from this systemic issue of we got the vote 60 years ago.
I know, right? That's pretty.
Right, right. So it's this idea that men are still in power, and they are, and they shouldn't be.
In the acting world, I don't even see like a difference, and I don't ever. And I'm gonna say this, like, dude, like, also, like, okay, when Mark Wahlberg eventually, and shout out to Mark Wahlberg, we're not shitting on you, Mark Wahlberg.
You're great.
Just follow the example right now. You're just the example right now. But like, he got treated like a hero because he eventually, with public pressure, or maybe he was gonna do it on his own. We don't like. I think he's a great guy, but I'm just saying, like, he was treated like a hero because he eventually like gave up his salary so that him and Michelle Williams would get the same pay. But that shows you how crazy this double standard is in Hollywood right now, with race and with gender. And I honestly think it's like equal. You know, I'm a brown man, I'm an Indian man, but I also think like females, not in life, and that's another subject for another day. But I'm talking the movie industry, we're dealing with the same problem. Not in life. In life, minorities got to deal with a lot more than just females in general. Or it doesn't matter. Anyways, that's another subject for another day. I'm gonna have to cut that out because I didn't explain that right. But y'all know what I mean. My point is, yeah, it's like, dude, this needs to stop, especially in acting. I also find it really weird that like in the Oscars, Golden Globes, best male actor, best female actor, it should be one category to me. But what are your thoughts on it? It's not like the Olympics where the physical capability is different. You know, what do you think on that?
I don't know. It's I think just the award ceremony in general, it's difficult, right? Because how do you judge art? How do you compare art? How do you say one is better than the other? Like, all these performances we see that are nominated and some that are not are unbelievable performances. So how do you even pick? I guess, like, for me as an actor who hopes to one day get an Oscar, I like that they separate it, because separating it gives me a higher chance of getting one, right? But
that's a good point. That's a good, for males too. They will do it.
Right. Because if you're going against everyone, it's just best actor, actress, best supporting actor, actress, that like cuts your chances in half.
Great point.
But I guess also, now that there are so many people who are gender nonconforming, like, where do they go in that awards category if they get into awards, you know? So
like
that's
transgender?
a question. Yeah. Not even transgender. People who are, transgender usually pick he or she, not always, but people who are literally gender nonconforming, where they just go by their pronoun as they, and they say, I'm not picking one. Do they? We haven't had that situation yet where they've been.
I was going to ask you that. Is there an example of that? That's so interesting. I never even heard that. I've heard it, but this is the first time I'm learning the definition of what gender nonconforming is. That's just somebody who doesn't, pick it. Yeah.
It's someone who hasn't. They don't have a gender, or they're both, or they're fluid, and they prefer to be called they. And it's different for everyone who is gender nonconforming. I think some people sometimes feel like he and sometimes feel like she. Some people just always feel androgynous. I don't know as much about it as I should or as I would like to, but kudos to them. But if they were to get nominated for an Oscar, under what category? I don't know. So maybe we should get rid of that. The same way, we're getting rid of some male and female bathrooms.
Yeah.
Which I don't like, just because I feel like men are icky when they go in the urinals. And I'd rather not watch men pee on the walls.
I would love to happen. I would love to go, like the female bathrooms seem so much cleaner. And sometimes when at the park there's nobody in there, I'll go to the female, or at jobs and shit, people go to the female bathroom because it's way clean. Anyways, females
it is cleaner. I don't want to share with you guys, but there should be an option. There should always be an option, I think, for someone who doesn't feel comfortable going in one of
them. And the reason I ask you, it just seems so, it doesn't make any sense, because like, I understand it in sports. It's like totally different in sports because it's just a fact of nature. It's not one's better than the other. It's just like, dude, we're built physically different. So obviously it has to be different, in acting, I never understood like why is Meryl Streep not considered like with Tom Hanks? You know what I mean? Like they should be at the same caliber. And I think something needs to change with that, because I think in our minds as collective society, we're always going to think Tom Hanks is, and I'm just using them as examples. Like we're always going to think Tom Hanks is above Meryl Streep when Meryl Streep is a GOAT, like one of the greatest to me, you know?
Oh
So
yeah.
yeah, it's just a
That's
weird.
that's really interesting, and that's a great, great idea that you bring up. And I don't know the answer,
Yeah.
uh, but I think you really make a great point. Meryl Streep is.
She should be like, I think she's the greatest actor, like actor. I don't even know how the pronouns or whether the adjectives were, whatever the fuck the, I don't even, whatever that, what is actors? That's a noun? That's a noun, right? Okay, so actor, actress. Some girls call themselves actor. I don't even know this shit, but it's just really confusing. But I want to simplify it. I think the new generation, we need to simplify it for the new generation. Anyways, let's move past that. I want to get back into the work. I want to get back into your work, right? Okay, as a voice actor, what are the challenges? Was this your first time doing the voice work for Chrome, or have you done it before this?
I've done it. I've done it a little bit. I've done a little bit of voiceover work. Not. I've done character voiceover work a little bit in school, but this is the first time I've done voiceover. I've done voiceover work for commercials and stuff, and like language stuff, textbooks, but I'd never done it for a character like this on a TV show. So this, yeah, was my first time, and it was so cool.
What was your research process for this character? Did you have to like study people, or what was your research process for?
So for this
No.
character, because Perdix is a robot, but it's in a future where the humans don't have humanity and the robots are sentient beings, and the robots do have more empathy and humanity than humans. So I really, looking at Perdix, I looked at her as if she was a human. So I did character research in her the same way I would do it kind of for a human being. So I looked at the things she said, and I would kind of make a backstory based off of that, right? I'd go into the text and say, okay, what's she saying, what's she doing, why would she say and do that, where does that come from in her life? So I kind of crafted her and who she is based on what was given to me in the text, and I did it the same way I would do for a human being. So with her voice, when I finally did come up with her voice, which is kind of, it's like this, and she's a little British robot, I wanted her to keep the roboticness in it. I wanted to have a little bit of vocal fry. So her as a person, as a character, was developed the same way I would a human, but I just added that little thing on top to make sure that there was, some aspect of, this is a robot, this is not a person. So yeah, that's how I
Was
kind of.
that role as fulfilling as it is to like be in a film where your physical self is in it? Was it just as fulfilling and hard work, or was it easier? Some
Well,
people think it's super easy to do voiceover work, but you could be honest. If it is easy, you can let us know. Yeah.
so it's different. It was just as fulfilling, and I loved. So I'll tell you what. So okay, I'll tell you first. It was just as fulfilling. It was easier in that it was quicker. So you have a film to do. You're on set for weeks, months. But for Perdix, we did everything in like 8 hours because you're just recording the voice. And I'm not even recording anyone else's voice. I'm just recording my lines. So that was for episode 1. But in episodes 2 onwards, Perdix's little faceplate is going to come up and you're going to see my face.
Spoiler alert, spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. Sorry, guys.
That's
So
all good.
through 5, they're going to do prosthetics and CGI, and they're going to have my face on my robot.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. And were you in the same room as like, okay, so because sometimes when they do the voiceover work, everybody, like few of the people are in the same room, at least 2 of them sometimes, where you just did a solo. And how was it challenging to communicate with the other voice actor if you were by yourself, or how did it go?
So I was in the same room as the actor who played Nall, Dave Morrissey Jr., who's an awesome actor. I can introduce you to him too if you want. But yeah, so cool. So I was in the same room as him, and most of our scenes are together. So what we would do, if we were recording a scene where we were together, we did it together. And then the other lines we would just not say. And we had our directors in Los Angeles. So we had our director actually on the phone while we were recording it. So we're recording it, our director's on the phone with us. But then anything else that like he was not in or I was not in, if we did a scene that was just me, I'm only recording my lines. So I'll record this line, silence. I'll record the next line, silence. So like, yeah. And I would just do that. You know, no one was reading the other lines unless I'd ask for it.
So how do you do that? Like, how do you gain a vibe or like a expression, or how do you do that with in silence? You can't, nobody bounce off of.
Yeah, right. So a couple ways. So firstly, I was able to watch it. So they'd had an almost finished product with all of the live action stuff that I could watch. So I'd watched that like 5 times before, or even more before I recorded. So I'd watched it a bunch of times. So I knew what was going on. I knew what was going on. I knew it was what I was watching, and I knew what all the live action actors were saying and doing. But for me, it would be like I'd say a line, and then you have to manifest it in yourself. You have to manifest it in yourself. You have to hear what the other person's saying to you, and you just have to do it there, and then you take off of whatever you're seeing in your mind, you know? It was cool. It's cool. And it's challenging in that way because you don't have someone to work off of and give to you. It is more challenging in that way. But also with voice acting, right? If you say a line and you're like, that was off, you just keep saying it. And the director takes, I don't even know what takes he took, you know, like I don't know if it was he took from all one take or he took here, you know, he takes whatever, but we did like a whole bunch of takes of every scene.
Yeah, and that's my next question. Were you less critical of yourself? Like, you know, with actors and actresses, like we always want to like more. I know me, like I like to do it as many times. I'm not the type of actor where when I do act, I don't act all the time, but like I like to do it as many times as they'll allow me to do it because I'm like super perfectionist. But did you find yourself less critical of yourself because it's only your voice?
Yeah. Well, I wasn't less critical of myself, but I was less worried when I didn't do well because I could just say it all over again the next minute, right? So I was just as critical as I always am. But also because it's voice, it's more like, okay, you can just throw everything out there because you're not wasting tape. It's not as costly. It's not as, you can just go and go and go and go and try a billion different things, and that's fine. Whereas like on set, maybe you get 3 takes and you have these 3 things you can do, and usually they want consistency. So it gives you more freedom in that way.
Did you guys record? That makes a lot of sense. Did you guys record this during the quarantine? Because I'm just curious why it wasn't. I'm just asking, like, why didn't the director want to be there when you guys were doing like?
We did it in. No, the director wanted to be here, but we did it. I think in January, February. We recorded it.
Okay. Yeah, I was just curious because why couldn't he be there? And no disrespect to him, like I'm just asking for people. Just our audience is like really new. I like to call my audience young Hollywood. Like they're super young, they're fresh, they're just getting into this. So I want them to be prepared. So like just for whatever occurs. Like why couldn't he go to?
So the reason that he wasn't able to come to New York is because he was also simultaneously in pre-production for our next film.
I see.
So he was in LA scouting locations for our next film and putting everything together. And our next film actually ended up switching because the next film we were supposed to do was like really big budget, really huge sets, really huge cast, and like it opens on an airplane. And he, you know, really feels like if we're going to release something next year that takes place on an airplane, that immediately takes the audience out of it because that's no longer reality. So we changed the films that were slated. So we're doing a different film next instead. And we'll probably do this hopefully in a couple of years. But so he was in pre-production for that original film that we were going to do, which we're not doing now. We're doing a different one. That was why he couldn't be here.
So like just going forward, and we'll go to different. How many? You got like 15 minutes left? Because I want to ask you like a lot more questions. You got like 15 minutes left?
As much time as you want.
All right, cool. Because I got to go somewhere too. But this is too dope. They know that I'm always late, so they're just used to me. I got to fix that, you guys. I'm gonna work on that, you guys. But I want to make sure this interview is like, dude, I have so many questions to ask you. I'm not gonna compromise this. So I want to ask you this. Like, do you think you and that director, because he did cast you in this, right? And I don't know that we can cut this out or whatever, but I'm just wondering, like, do you think it could be like a symbiotic relationship where you guys keep going forward with like the same direct? You know, like I love how Johnny Depp and what's his name, Tim Burton work. Like I just love those kind of, because I think it's consistent. I think it's a, you know, so yeah, basically that's my question. Like, do you
This is
think
my
that can
Tim
happen?
Burton. Yeah, this is my Tim Burton.
Nice. What's his name again? Can you shout him out?
Timothy Hines.
Okay,
Timothy Hines.
cool. That's super
Great.
dope. Yeah.
And he's a feminist director. All of the films he makes are about women with a women protagonist with loads of his last film was 10 Days in a Madhouse, which is about Nellie Bly, who went to Blackwell's mental institution to do a story on them and expose them, but she had to go undercover as an insane woman, and they were abusing the women, raping the women, making them take drugs, making them crazy. They were killing all these women who weren't actually crazy, just their husbands would send them there because they want to get rid of them. And she had to pretend to be mad and was drugged and was almost killed, and then she came out and was able to get the hospital closed. But this is a true story, and my director Tim loves Nellie Bly, and he made this film about her, and it's all women. It's awesome, and so many of the films he does are just so female centric. And yeah, we already have a handful of films coming up together that we're slated to do. We're doing another one about Nellie Bly. But yeah.
Shout out to him. Let's make some noise for that real quick. You should clap for that too, because that's really cool. Like, dude, we need more of that. We need the feminist movie, like we're all female cast. We need the all brown. You know, like this one when you mentioned diversity in movies. When I'm on movie sets, I'm more concerned about the crew because sometimes the crew is all white. And no disrespect to white people, I love white people. Everybody know I love white people. But I think like, okay, people are just naturally gonna hire who they know. So when I'm on movies, I was on like did Argo, and I love Ben Affleck. He was so nice, like amazing person. But I'm looking around and I'm seeing like, okay, every single person on the crew is white, and I don't think people are being racist when they're hired. Only they're just hiring who they know. So how, in your experience in this acting world, how do you think like, okay, everybody's gonna always directors and they're gonna hire the AD who they already know. What would you recommend? And I know that's a tough question, but like, how can we go about pursuing diversity in a more productive way?
I think you just got to give new people a chance, right? Okay, you want to hire people, hire some people, but then give new people a chance. It's the same thing with unknown actors, right? You should give unknown actors a chance. Don't always hire the same person. But I mean, how do we give black and brown people more of a chance? We do. We just need to do it. You just do it. That's how you do it. You just hire them, period. And I mean, like it's not, oh, you're taking jobs away from white people. No, it's not that at all. Like we've had all the jobs. It's time's up. Just hire people from different backgrounds, because that's what it should. I feel like what you see when you walk into work, regardless of what you do, be it this industry or any other industry, should be a reflection of what you see when you go on the street. And like going on the street in New York, I walk outside and I see people of all different shapes and sizes and colors and genders. And that's what you should see when you walk into work too. And it, I don't know what it is that, how do we get there? I think you just do it. You just hire people. It's that simple.
Yeah, and I think that's what people got to really realize. This is my first time saying this on the podcast. It's not like Hollywood is necessarily racist. It's just, dude, anybody would do this. Like, we're gonna hire the people we know. So when you do go out of your way to hire a person of color, for example, you're taking away a job from your friend. You know, so I think that's what the dilemma is. I think that's what people have to just come. I really love it. It's kind of weird, but I love what's going on. Like, and you might. Luckily, you're playing a white character on the show, right? Or like your robot is white or something? Is because
My robot's a robot.
Yeah, all right, good for it. Good.
My robot's silver with the eyes.
Yeah, but have you heard about like Jenny Slate on I forgot the name of the show. It's on Netflix. Big something. But like these white actresses who voice these, which is weird to me. I feel bad for these people.
Big Mouth.
Huh? Yeah, Big Mouth. Yeah. Like, what do you think about that? Like, they're like leaving their roles to like give it to a black person, but like the character, like I feel like very conflicted on that. It just seems a little weird. I respect it, that's undoubtedly, but like, what are your thoughts on that? I just don't know.
I'm for leaving their roles. I think they're doing the right thing, and I think they should have cast a black person to begin with.
But I think they should have cast a black person to begin too. But do you think it's gonna lose? Like, okay, imagine for Simpsons, Apu, right? And I'm Indian, I'm full Indian, proud Indian. I should be prouder. I need to educate myself. Weston, he knows way more about my culture than I do. But so it's like, for instance, Apu, right? On The Simpsons, Hank Azaria plays Apu, right? And he won't be funny. This is being me being the devil's advocate. Like, he won't be funny if it's an Indian guy playing. You get what I'm saying? I'm not trying to set you up for a bad answer, but yeah.
That answer, just hire a funny Indian guy. You know, like I don't
Okay.
know why that wouldn't be funny. Just hire someone who's funny who happens to be Indian.
Okay. But he's gonna
There are
do.
funny Indian people. There are funny white people. There are funny black people. There are funny Asian people. But there are funny people, and you don't need to have white people doing everything.
But like, how is it Indian person? Because it has to. Apu has to have the accent. And again, I'm not putting you on the spot. I have to ask you. I just have to ask whoever, every actress and casting directors, like, from now on going forward, I need, because this is a very important question. Like, okay, is it going to lose funniness because, dude, you're going to hire any person, and maybe what if he naturally has that accent? It's not going to be as funny as somebody faking the accent. Does that make sense? And I'm an Indian person speaking for, you know what I mean?
Okay, first of all, I don't really watch The Simpsons, so I
Yeah, but for instance, yeah, like, okay, okay, on the Big Mouth, I never watched it either, but like, she's playing like she's doing a black accent. And what if the black actor or actress doesn't have that same accent?
doing a black accent.
Okay, there you go.
I watch it, and like she that character specifically is doing like a little child's voice. She's not doing any sort of like black, you know. But
Yeah,
I just think, yeah, I think you can find someone of the actual race, and if you want them to do an accentuated accent, then have them do an accentuated accent, which I personally think is much less offensive than having a white person do what they think of as a black accent, which I feel uncomfortable even saying that, you know. I just like get someone of the race to do the thing, and they'll make it funny in their own way.
great.
Why I don't see why you have to be white to be funny. I
Hey, that's a great point. Yeah, that's a super great point.
know so many funny people that are not white.
Yeah, and it's like we could do a character like we could do, like, if I was gonna play a poo, I could do a caricature myself, and it would be less offensive, honestly, because I'm allowed to do that. It's like the black people saying N word, or like white person saying whatever the derogatory term. Like, we're allowed to do that. We're allowed to play a caricature of ourselves rather than somebody else who's not from our culture playing a caricature. That's a great point. You know, you changed my mind right now, to be honest with you, because I was like, dude, let I was like, that's the last thing. Let them do what they do because it's funny, but we can do it too. Yeah. So.
Exactly. Like, why are you taking jobs and opportunities away from yourself,
Mhm.
playing someone who is Indian and giving them to a white person? There are so many roles for white people. There are so many more roles for white people, which also needs to change. Like, why are children of color growing up not seeing themselves represented? That's not okay. That's not okay. And that's why, like, when you say you don't think Hollywood is racist, like, it's not racist, you know?
100%. It's not racist. And there's a lot of work to do. It's a lot of work to do in society. Let's go to a different subject. I want to ask you this because you said you got a little bit more time. So how do you navigate your relationships, like your boyfriends, while pursuing this occupation as an actress? Do you think you got to date somebody in the industry? Are you dating somebody now? And do you see yourself dating like a real estate person or something, you know?
So okay. I date people that I like, you know. I haven't actually I've dated like an actor here and there. My last boyfriend who was an actor was my first boyfriend. So when I was like 18, 19, 20, 21. Um but so it's not that I don't date actors. I would totally date an actor if I met someone who, you know, um, I just started seeing someone who is like, anyway, it's brand.
Oh, you're blushing. No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking. But continue.
But like, he's not an actor. But yeah, I'll date any people who do anything. I just care about the person, and I like men that are intelligent and kind and funny and like crazy about me. So, and like I want someone that I find that I really respect and really admire and look up to. So yeah, sorry, I got nervous talking about.
Oh, that's so cute. Isn't that adorable, you guys? That's so adorable.
And I am I'm still dating. I'm single. I'm not with someone.
Mhm.
But yeah, really excited about this one, honestly.
Yes, like what is he like? We don't. I don't know if he's gonna watch this, and we're gonna release this in a week. We can talk to him within this week. But like, yo, like, how does he deal with like what does he do, and like, how does he deal with like what if you have a kissing scene? Like, what does he do for a living, first of all?
I mean, he's literally brand new. He's literally brand new. We haven't
Yeah,
dealt with.
let's just use him as an example. Like
Let's.
if,
You want to talk about one of my exes? Like my ex.
yeah, because this might be too fragile. I don't want to manipulate it. Brandon, let's talk about the ex. Let's talk about like, okay, what's it before him? Just anybody, like one of your exes. Name a job that's kind of like a 9 to 5 job, and how did they? Yeah, let me hear what kind of job they had.
My last boyfriend sold insurance.
Okay, so how does he? Okay, if you have to go on an audition, and your job is to kiss somebody, and it's for the art, like, how do they deal with that if they're not in the same world?
I've never had to kiss someone for an audition actually, but what something that I always do is that I know if I have to kiss someone for just a scene or work or even a class, I'll tell them ahead of time. I'll be like, just so you know, babe, like I have to kiss someone for this, just out of respect, because even though it is my job but it's not real, I feel like you do need to put your relationship first and just say like, listen, just so you know, I'm kissing someone else today. Love you. It's my job. And if they're not okay with it, like I mean, I understand. I like part of the reason I guess I don't really date actors is because I'm so jealous. And if my boyfriend was off kissing someone else all the time who's super hot, I would feel so uncomfortable. But at the same time, it's what I do. So there's a degree of I don't know. But you do, I think, as an actor, just be honest, just be upfront, just say this is what I'm going to do today. Love you. I'll kiss you extra hard when I get home. I'll think about you.
That's sweet. That's super sweet. Do you think like you guys have to be in the same financial bracket? Like, say you make 1 million on your next film. Like, this is just hypothetical, right? And he's selling whoever. Let's not even use him for example. Let's say he sells golf equipment. I just this random, right? Do you like how can you your lifestyle and that your significant other's lifestyle like match if it's not in the same tax bracket? You know what I mean?
Yeah, so I personally don't care. And I personally think I've had one
You're dream
boyfriend.
woman. You're dude. You're wifey for lifey. Continue.
Well, like my dream is to like make a ton of money being an actor and have a stay-at-home dad, you know?
Damn. Okay. You ever watch 30 Rock? Do you ever watch 30 Rock? Have you ever watched?
No, is it great? I heard it's great.
Great. It's in New York. It's based in New York. But yeah, she's like that too. Like Tina Fey. That's what she wanted. She just wanted to have her stay at home, and that's okay too. Like society can't like dictate what the fuck, what the heck, yeah, what the fuck y'all want, you know. So that's like at least you're honest and you know what you want. You know what I mean? Have you ever had like your significant other like kind of like mess with you or like create drama before an audition, for example, or like before like your first day of shooting, and has it affected your work? Because I know a lot of people deal with that too. Just asking.
Um, I'll tell you what, I had one of my boyfriends I broke up with during a shoot, and like that first week of filming when we were not together, my work was like, and then he started talking to me again, trying to get back with me together with me during the shoot, and it my like my it was much more stressful because I had to. This is someone that I should have left years before I left them, but it was I had to do extra mental gymnastics to like get myself into the place where I needed to be as opposed to in my own personal crap. But I just think if you're with the wrong person, If you're with someone who's doing that to you, you're not with the right person. They shouldn't. That's your work. That's your job. Don't you want me to make money? But yeah, I don't.
Is that your little dog who just came in the background? And what's the dog's name? This is a
My
cute
little dog, and his name is Padfoot.
boy. What kind of dog is that? We love dogs on the Rockwell podcast. What kind of dog is that?
The Shih Tzu.
Shout out to him. Shout out to him. Okay, that was a great answer. And like it also goes back to like, okay, sometimes you may need a date in your industry, but if you could find a guy or a woman who can understand it, kudos to everybody out there. Okay, I want to ask you like three more questions. It might be more. I don't, we're unorganized over here. Okay, you're okay. When you're a kid, your favorite actress. When you're a teen, your favorite actress. And I'm just thinking about this right now. This is an ill-ass question. I'm gonna use this for everybody. I just thought about this shit right now. I'm just a genius. Anyways, so yeah, when you're a kid, your favorite actress who like inspired you. When you're a teen, your favorite actress, and you right now, who your favorite actress. I know maybe you don't want to say that, but just let me know if you can answer that.
When I was a kid, maybe Cameron Diaz.
I love Cameron Diaz.
Yeah,
So,
love
the goat.
the sweetest thing.
I watched that movie in theaters. It's rated R. I had to sneak into that shit because we were just sneaking just for the sake of sneak. Because I would watch any movie when I was a kid, just to like make out and shit. But anyways, but yeah.
Have you seen the unrated version?
No, I've never seen the unrated version. I didn't even like the regular version, but it was cool.
Unrated version has the penis song in it.
Oh, really? Okay.
Send you the penis song just so you can watch it. Look it up, you guys. Watch The Sweetest Thing, the penis song.
Hell yeah. Okay. I'm gonna check that out. That's an underrated movie. I remember it was rated R. I have fond memories of that, but not from the movie. But I remember, yeah, I was like, okay. And Cameron Diaz is, and I really respect her because she retired. Did you know that? Like she retired from acting.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. Good for her.
Super awesome. I'm like, dude, she like took her life into her own hands. And I think she's married to like Benji or Joel, one of the guys from Good Charlotte.
Amazing.
Yeah, she has a baby. She has a baby. I think she's married to him. I think it's Benji Madden. Anyway, shout out to Good Charlotte too. But Cameron Diaz is a goat. She's from LA. She went to Long Beach. No, she went to Crossroads. No, she went to Long Beach High School with Snoop Dogg. Shout out to Cameron Diaz. That's LA. That's LA all day. All right. Okay. When you're a teenager, Julia Roberts, GOAT, great. Where's she at these days? I'm wondering. She just retired too, you think?
I don't know. But I remember like Aaron Brockovich was my favorite.
You remind me of Aaron Brockovich low key a little bit. Now, you look like a lawyer in a good way. Like you're sophisticated and you dress well. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. When you're an adult right now.
Melda Staunton.
Ooh.
Oh, she's an older British accent. She's a British actress. She was in Vera Drake. Oh my gosh. Okay, Professor Umbridge in Harry Potter.
Oh, okay.
Who looks like a little toad that goes. Anyway,
okay.
I just think is.
Say her name again, because we want to give her props.
Imelda Staunton.
Okay, and she's a British actress.
British actress.
How old is she? Like, or she's older?
She's older, in her 70s or 80s. She's maybe in her 70s, but she's watch Vera Drake. It's a film by Mike Lee, and she just blows my mind.
Why? I want to know why.
So good. Her work is so detailed, so beautiful. It's some of the best acting I've ever seen. I think she's just extraordinary, and I admire her so much.
What is it about, like, just name like two things that are different from her and like mediocre, like we're not going to name names, but like actresses that we may think as the public, like I just really want to educate the audience. Like what I think when I interview actresses or actors, I really want to know why their favorites are their favorites. So if you could just explain a little bit more about why. Say her name again too, please. Sorry. Okay. And why is she your favorite?
So I feel like when she works, like the way she sits in a role, you're not watching an actor. She's there. She lives in that world, in that person, so completely, embodies those roles so completely. I mean, I just think the way that she does that is beyond. Yeah.
Do you think that was like years of practice or like classes? Because this is another question I want to ask you. Do you think like a lot of class in school is necessary, or do you think she just gained that from experience of being on set and doing these things? What do you think?
I mean, I'm sure she's well educated, but I think being a great actor is a mix of both, right? Or it's one or the other. I think you can be a great actor from going to school and getting great training and going to great classes, or you could be a great actor just from being on set and having experiences. And there's value in both things. And you know, there are things that you learn on set that you can't learn anywhere else, and there are things you learn in class that you can't learn anywhere else. So there's value in both. And I'm sure she's well educated, but I'm sure the fact that she's been working her whole life also aids to her being so brilliant. So
That's a great answer, and thank you for giving us like the education. Because look, I think honestly, honestly, I think like actresses are more important right now than actors because they're sharing a story. And I think the more powerful the actress can become, and the more like we need a female actress to be the biggest box office draw. I don't know why that hasn't happened yet. Especially like there's so many greats like Angelina Jolie could have been that. Something needs to change with that, but also especially right now with the time period we're in right now, it really is. I want my niece. I have a niece. You know, I don't have kids yet, but I have a niece. You know, she's in acting. She's 2 years old, but she's like gorgeous. She's gonna be a star. I'm telling you. But I want her to be like the #1 box office draw. Why can't that happen? Like I just don't see why not. So that's dope. That people like her. I haven't seen any of her work yet. Say her name one more time.
Imelda Staunton.
Okay, that's a lot of stuff you have to say. Okay, yeah, we're gonna research her. We're gonna do our research because I want to see what the hell she does. And people like her and Meryl Streep. And what's the other girl? There's another old, no disrespect, but like a older girl, a woman, who's from. Anyways, another one. Anyways, who?
Judi Dench.
No, it wasn't her, but I know who she is. It's another one. It's like she
Olivia
looks.
Colman.
She's kind of like Meryl Streep. I so want to. I so want to know who I'm talking about right now. It's like in my head.
I also think Kate Blanchett is
Kate
unreal.
Blanchett. That's no. It's not Kate Blanchett. She's not gray haired. It's a gray haired girl. Anyways, I'll figure that out later. You'll know who I'm talking about later. It's like
Maggie Smith.
no. Once I figured out, you'll know who I'm talking. I don't know. Damn it! I really want to know what I'm talking about. Anyways, it's gonna drive. It's driving you crazy already. All right. So. Anyways, okay. What's your plan for like the next 5 years? Like, can you just tell us your future projects and where do you see yourself? Like, what's your goals? Because everybody got to have like a game plan, and I know you do. I know you're methodical. So, like, what's your future roles that you already have booked, and like, what is your game plan going for next 3 years? Not even 5 years.
So I have a couple of roles coming up. I have two in the fall. I have one. It's this show called Shoot from the Hip, and I'm playing a detective, but she comes across like very sexual seductress, so that'll be fun. And
Nice.
I have another film that I'm doing with the same director, Timothy Hines, and that's called God's Country, nothing to do with religion. It's about this super rich woman. It takes place during the Great Depression. This super crazy, extraordinarily rich woman where like she doesn't know where the kitchen is in her own house. They lose all their money. Her and her cousin end up in the wilderness trying to survive. And it's basically like two little rich girls take away everything they have, throw them in the forest, see what happens. And that I'm doing in the fall also. I have a couple projects that I'm also in talks with. I have a couple readings coming up that'll hopefully lead to bookings. Fingers crossed, knock on wood. I'm working on a piece that's about a French artist during the Impressionism era with this director, Carol Dorn, that I'm looking forward to also. Hopefully we'll shoot that soon. So my goal, I mean, I want to win an Oscar, baby.
Make some noise for that real quick. You gotta be honest with your goals. You will. I'm telling you, you will. Okay, yeah.
Also, sorry, Padfoot's barking. But also, Padfoot, no, sorry. But also for me, I would like to, if I can just wake up every morning and go to work to be an actor and make a living being an actor, and that's it. Oh, you know what? If that's all I get, I'm happy. I'm good.
I think that's the key to life, like being content and grateful for what you get, but still aiming high. And like I struggle with that sometimes because I really aim high, and but it's so if you ain't, but you still got to be content with where you're at because we both everybody who's in this game and young Hollywood out there, like everybody's come a long way. You're already, especially if you move from like Chicago to LA, you already took that first step. Everybody be grateful where you're at. I thank you for that advice. Um, can you break down this real quick, and then we might cut this out? But I'm so curious because okay, because I'm on Wikipedia too. What's the family? What's the family lineage? This shit is so complicated because this is the most legendary family. If you don't like this in there, we'll cut it out. But I want you to explain it, please.
So Weston and I are first cousins.
And Weston is Nicolas Cage's son, and your stepfather is
Mark Coppola.
Mark Coppola and Wes and Nicolas Cage are brothers.
Yes.
Okay, and then their dad is
August Coppola.
August Coppola is brothers with Francis Ford Coppola.
Coppola and Talia Shire is their sister.
Okay, Talia Shire is Schwartzman. Jason Schwartzman? What's his name?
Mother. So okay, I'll break it down. So it goes our grandpa August, Francie, and Tally, right? So Talia Shire's children are Matthew Shire, Jason Schwartzman, and Robert Schwartzman.
Got it.
Francie's children are Gio, who is the father to Gia Coppola.
That's your uncle?
No, he's our second cousin.
Okay, got you.
His children are Gio, who's the father to Gia, who made the movie Palo Alto. His other children are Coppola and Sophia Coppola.
Okay, Sophia's a goat. Then how is Sophia related to you?
She's our second cousin.
Okay. Do you have a relationship? Do you know, like, are you like, I mean, that's a random question, but like, do you have like
so sweet.
Yeah, because you guys could like, you guys can make great things together. But yeah, anyways.
And so then our grandfather, August, has my dad, Mark Coppola, who has me and my sister, Kaylee.
Shout out to Kaylee. I was going to ask you if you have siblings.
Kaylee Coppola. She's 16. She's fun. She's into video games. Cute. She's very tall. Blonde hair, blue eyes, beautiful. So Kaylee, Mark, and then Christopher Coppola is our uncle, and he has Bailey Coppola and Dexter Coppola. And
so
Bailey,
so 3 brothers, and Nicolas Cage has 2 brothers. Okay.
And then Nicolas, and Nicolas has Weston and Kalel, Weston's brother.
Shout out to him too. Shout out to Weston. Yeah, no, it's just because, like, dude, I honestly think it's the most legendary family in Hollywood. It's not, and I really love because there's a whole thing in Bollywood, and again, I'm Indian. There's a whole thing in Bollywood about nepotism, but dude, you and Weston are earning your keep. You guys are not using that shit, bro. And I think it's kudos to you, your family, because you guys could easily do that. And kudos to your dad and to his dad, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's admirable, yeah.
Yeah, well, you know what is nice about it is I'll say that now that I'm like starting to work more and becoming successful, I know that I've earned it and that I deserve to be here. And it'll never be a question in my mind that whether or not I deserve to be here, you know? So.
Oh yeah, I think everybody gets everybody has to get to that point, and you got to put what you put in the work. That's why you got to that point. You put in mad work, and so we're gonna wrap it up. You put in mad work. Is there anything you want to say about Chrome? And it's on Amazon Prime right now. It came out May 30th. Is there anything else you want to say about Chrome?
Episode 2 is coming August 30th. So right now it's episode 1, and there's going to be a new episode every 3 months.
Why? What's the deal with that?
I'm not. They wanted to make it like the Flash Gordons, how you had to go. It's like this long drawn out. I think so. It's that, and also it's just so much work because if you see it, it's hyper action. It's not just a regular action sci-fi. It's something happening all the time. So the amount of work that goes into it, and it's really, our director Timothy is this brilliant man, but it's all from his mind, and no one else can do it. So it's all him doing all the work for it. And I mean, because it's his baby. It's all in his head, you know. So he's doing, I think, the work of like 20 people. So we need 3 months in between each episode.
Well said. And I think it's super dope because actually I think it's innovative. I love anything like that's innovative. I think that's ill. Like make people wait 3 months. If you believe in your product, you should make them wait 3 months because the audience is going to appreciate it even more. I think that's dope as hell. Is there anything else you want to plug real quick while we're here?
Gosh, what do I want to plug? Ah, I should have thought about this.
It's all good. You don't. We can do another one too. I hope you do come to LA. Yeah.
I hope I do come to LA too.
Yeah. You should move to LA, but your boyfriend right now might be.
He's not my boyfriend.
Okay, sorry. My breaking heart. Sorry to him too. Like, yeah, I don't know if you thought she was your girlfriend, but now she just said you. Anyway, I'm joking. I'm messing around, you know. It's all funny games, but yeah.
No, not my boyfriend yet. So, so no, not my boyfriend.
Okay, yeah. So are you planning? You should go to LA.
It's enough curiosity to keep me here for a little while.
Nice. Oh yeah, dude, that's like the sweetest thing. If a girl said that about me, you know how sweet that would make. Like I would blush, and I'm really dark skinned and it'd be hard. But enough curiosity to make me say that's so poetic. Yeah, like, but
so hard to find someone where like it just feels like just magnet, like it was a magnetic thing. Like
yeah, I know it's dude.
I can't not kiss this person. I can't not get to know this person. And when you kind of find, like, I've experienced that maybe twice ever. And when you find that, like, don't just leave. Kind of see it out. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe it'll not happen. But like, you can't just like walk away from that. That's special. So enough.
That's so beautiful. That's so sweet. What if you got a role in LA? Would he move with you? Like, say you had a role for like 6 months, you had to be in LA for 6 months. Would he go? Would you ask him to go with you?
Sure, why not? I'd ask him. I don't know if he'd come, but I'd ask him.
He does real estate or he does insurance?
No,
You said?
no, that's my ex-boyfriend. He does not. I don't want to say what he does because I don't want to
put you in trouble. I'm already in enough people's business. I don't need to be all up in your business. Yeah.
Like, it's super wonderful and sweet. And maybe if he's my boyfriend, the next time I come on, I'll tell you about him. But he's not yet. But like what he does is amazing. But he was just furloughed, so actually he could come with me right now because of COVID.
Yeah, yeah. That's going to be like extremely last question. Sorry for keeping because dude, we're gonna do when you come to LA, we'll do it in the studio. I really want to get you in the studio. Like I have so many more questions to ask you, but this will be the last question. So like, where do you see the industry going with COVID? Because they put out what was it, Pete Davidson's movie? What was his movie? King of Staten Island. They put it on TV basically, like Apple TV and shit, like Apple whatever movies, you know, like you can order the movie. Like, where do you see with the COVID? Because I think it's coming back. How do you see the movie industry adjusting to it? Do you think it's bad? They sold that movie for like $22, the Pete Davidson movie. So would you be like, as an actress, would you be upset if like your movies just went straight to people's homes, or how do you feel about that?
Not at all. I mean, if that's how it's accessible now, then that's how it's accessible. I think something that's cool that I think has been coming back in and drive-in movie theaters have been becoming a thing again, which is really cool.
I think
so maybe it starts with that, right? Maybe we are able to do that, and then maybe when things open up, we can go to outdoor movies. But I see a lot more things going straight to streaming, which as an actress, I don't care. Like I care that people see it. You know, I don't need a theater release. I need people to see it and enjoy it and, you know, have their own personal experience from it. I'm not doing my art for me.
Yeah, I think your directors may think differently. I think it's more of a director's like obsession more than an actress or actors. Like they want their movies to be in a theater, you know, like to see the full quality, you know. But I agree with you. Like I'm like, dude, like everybody wants to stay at home. If you could smoke your weed and just stay at home and watch a movie, that's the goal, you know. Like, but and just get the surround sound. But I understand why directors feel a certain way. So that's a great answer. But like, I totally get why, like, you know, Quentin Tarantino is not gonna want to make a straight to I was surprised Martin Scorsese did it. He kind of did it, but he still had a theatrical release. But like, you know, these old directors, like, you know, they're not going to want to do it, which is totally understandable. I don't think Spielberg will want to do it. But, you know, the game is, like, I have to adapt to the rap game. I have to adapt to this new acting game. Everybody got to adapt. You either adapt or you die. So it is what it is. Yeah. Anyways, Natasha, is there anything else you want to, did I know you?
What do you mean, did you know me?
Did I annoy you? Like, did I like ask too many questions?
No, you didn't annoy me at all. This was awesome. You didn't annoy me even a little bit. I've had such a great time. You can ask me more questions if you want.
Yeah, we got to do a part two because I'm already late. But dude, like, and I appreciate you so much for doing this last minute. And I have so many more questions to ask you. I do hope you come to LA soon. That would really be dope. But yeah, like, plug anything else that you have. If not, thank you so much, Natasha, for everything. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here, and I'm grateful. Yeah, I'm excited for part two.
And shout out to your little sister and shout out to your doggy. I saw the little doggy there.
Shout out to Weston.
Shout out to Weston, yeah. And shout out to the Coppola family. I love you guys so much. And yeah, thank you so much for being on. We're gonna cut it off, but stay on the video when I end the recording. I always do this. So Rockwell podcast, Natasha, Coppola, Shalom. Everybody check out Chrome. It's on Amazon Prime. You guys can get a free trial. And yeah, Amazon, holla at me. All right, peace, y'all. Love you guys. Thank you. All right, hold on. Let me add this real quick. Stop recording. Okay.